Happy New Year's Eve. Naima Singletary here, spiritual business advisor to accomplished, spiritually gifted businesswomen who are coming out in a way like never before, reclaiming ancient power to speak what they know, to be who they know, to deliver their message, their change to the world. And today's topic is ruling Black women messengers. Ruling Black women messengers. And it is what it is. Ruling Black women messengers. So if you're watching this right now, you're alive in 2000 and let's say 19, right? 2019. And there are lots of things happening in the world that are wonderful, like DoorDash, right? You can use your smartphone or Uber Eats, as DoorDash, Uber Eats, these food delivery companies, that you can go onto your phone, order food, and have it delivered to wherever you are within half an hour. There are wonderful things like email distribution, where you can email lots of people at one time. You can hire somebody in another country by just going on the internet and having access to this pool of talent. There are so many modern conveniences that makes it such a joy to be alive now versus being alive 100 years ago. And me being me, and being in relationship with other humans, it's so easy to take what we see and what exists now as what it is, where what we see, what the messages, the dominant consciousness, the dominant way things work, the dominant way relationships go, the dominant way just this modern life goes. We take it as such. Many people take it as such, right? And it's only sometimes when we slow down, or I slow down. And I'm speaking, this has more so been my past. Now and in the last, I'll say, few years, I've known better. But prior to knowing better, there were, these glimpses of knowing, these glimpses of, there's an ancient intelligence that's here that I'm not tapping into. And what I notice is happening now is I'm noticing more and more particularly white people going to Egypt for particularly transformational people. Remember, I'm in the transformation space, and so I'm noticing a lot of white women who are in the transformation space are going to Egypt for a kind of connection that they've never had. They're looking for that deep, clear, precise connection, that rich, riveting, goddess, undeniable connection. And I'm finding that, I'm seeing that more and more people of color, and I look at it as Black women and then people of color. That's how I look at it. That discernment is really important, and I'll talk about that at another time. What I'm finding is more and more Black women and women of color are tapping into their roots, tapping into that ancient power, tapping into that ancient knowing. I think it's more of like a spirit-led thing for most people. But what I know it is happening is that so many of the occurrences of the last 2 years, which have, on the surface, have looked terrible, have looked, anger-inducing, have looked like the end, have really instigated the influx of this higher intelligence that's been circling us since the beginning of time. Many people, we use Donald Trump for an example. many people are just deeply disturbed that he has a position of power, that he is the president of the United States, supposedly one of the greatest countries in the world. And the bright side to Donald Trump coming into power is that it has aggressively instigated a return to self. It has instigated deep self-inquiry for humans. It has instigated, unusual questioning, asking questions that perhaps we would not have asked had Hillary Clinton been made president. And what is now happening is what has been original, what is core, even with all of our modern pleasures, okay? What is original, what is deep, what is true, which is profound, that has been here all along, even with all of our modern, technologies, is becoming louder, is begging for our attention. And begging is it's demanding. There's this, I'll speak for myself. There's been this, for the last year and a half particularly, there's been this deep, deep banging of my knowing, the power from which I come, the lineage from which I come. And I see similar bangings in other women, Black women and women of color around the world, who are showing up in incremental ways on the internet, speaking what they know, creating their own communities, really allowing themselves to be who they are and to explore and allow that which has been dormant and riddled, sort of like circled with fear, living in a modern world and living in this various cultures that are rife with ignorance, rife with ignoring that which is profound, ignoring that which is true, ignoring that which I know. And so for Black women, I'll speak for myself and for the Black women who I know, this is incredible, because in the transformation space, where transforming and truth and high consciousness is supposed to be, like in the transformation space, there's supposed to be this permission to be true, permission to, tell the truth, this permission to transform, this permission to live in the spirit of highness. And the majority of the voices that I see, the majority of the success that I see, the majority of the reverence and respect that I see is placed upon white women and white men. White women and white men. And what I know is, I'm getting ready to say something, and I can already feel the small mind and the ego mind going into this knee-jerk, sort of constricted, defensive response. I can see that and feel that. And I'm speaking from a higher intelligence, and you as the listener will either have access to this higher intelligence and know it when I speak it, or you will do you will have the predictable reaction. And so, one, Black women are the original power. What I mean by that is all of humanity was born from black women 300,000 to 500,000 years ago. All of humanity. This is a fact. This is not my opinion. This is a fact, okay? We are the original power, okay? And yet in modern world, particularly American culture, but we could apply this to many other cultures around the world, right? I'm an American, so oftentimes I speak first from an American perspective. Black women are considered the ones least likely to be heard, least likely to be revered, least likely to be rich, least likely to be sought for wisdom, for answers, for the direction of things, for the evolution of things. And part of the reason why the world is sick is because the out of order of that, the degree to which that is out of order, natural order, not man-made order, natural order. And so what's happening now, it's been happening with me for a while. If you've been paying attention, you've seen this. And what I'm seeing now out there in the marketplace and the greater world is that more and more black women are coming forth, which is really, really good and necessary. And what is non-negotiably critical right now is that black women who know that they come from a line, even if you don't know your lineage in detail, even if you've never had stories and content transferred to you from 3 and 5 and 10 generations ago, even if you don't have that, but you know, right? You know that you are a messenger, that you are born to rule. And here's high discernment. I'm not talking about conquering patriarchal ruling. Darling, I am always talking about the highness of truth, the highness of heart, the highness of truth, capital T, minus ego, minus man-made constructs, minus fear and all the stuff that so many of us are plagued by and must practice diligently every day in not being, not living and deciding and moving from that. If you know that you are among the ruling class, okay, the ruling, you are a descendant of that power. We are the ones, I'm telling you, we are the ones. We are the ones. The world is lying. The world is lying. The world is lying. It has lied for centuries. The world has lied for centuries. We are the ones. We have the message. We know how to turn this around. We know how to right wrongs. We know. We have the power. We have the intelligence. And so many of us have swam in the lies for so long that we have come to believe them. However, knowing trumps belief. Knowing trumps belief. And I'm telling you that as a black woman who's a descendant of the ruling class, you are meant to emerge now, true, unapologetically, and to be rich and to make manifest that which is in your blood, that which is in your heart, that which is in your bone marrow, that which is in your soul. I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, as a matter of soul, that your time is now. Thank God. How blessed and lucky we are to be alive now. How blessed and lucky we are to be alive now. There is incredible responsibility here, incredible opportunity here. You are endowed with everything that is necessary for you to move and emerge now. And everything else that is required will be given to you only and only once you emerge as the power and truth that you are. You are meant to be rich. You are meant to be rich financially. You are meant to be rich in people resources. You are meant to be rich in love. You are meant to be rich in connection with God. You are meant to be rich in health. And yes, this is a tall order, especially if you have been believing the lies for most of your life. And so with this video, in spirit, in voice, in knowing, I call you forth now. Even if you are not here now, I call you forth now. I call you forth now. I call myself forth now. And all that I have known, that I have withheld for the last 7, 8 years, I give it permission to emerge now. I give you permission, as you give yourself permission, to emerge now. Nobody can take or destroy that which you are endowed with. It is the rule, it is the law, it is God-given, it is indestructible. I guarantee it. It is indestructible. Your job is to tap in, to know, and to emerge as the messenger, ruling, rich one that you are. That is your job, okay? So I am, and my community is the place for this ruling, rich Black woman who's emerging as the messenger that she is. And so I'm gonna go now. I will be back here tomorrow, and I advise you to get in touch with me if you know. Okay? I'm gone until tomorrow. Voila.